Hi, I'm Ellie, a legal engineer here at Wordsmith, and today I'm going to show you how you can connect Wordsmith to your Microsoft IQ environment using MCP. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to navigate to connectors. So I'm going to hit my profile down in the bottom left hand corner, open it up, and I'm going to hit connectors. From here, I'm going to hit Microsoft Work IQ, and you can see that I already have this connected, but if I disconnect to show you what it's going to look like, all I have to do is authenticate my account. So I'm going to click this blue button, and I'm going to have to pick my account, and now I'm connected. So if I head back to connectors, I'm going to walk you through what tools this actually exposes. So if I scroll down, on the left hand side you can see the tools, and on the right hand side you can see the description, and this is pretty self-explanatory. So you can see that we've got some push and pull tools. So this is a pull tool, so that means we're pulling data, and if I scroll down you can see that this is a push tool. So you'll notice that on the pull tools, these are automatically sent to always allow, because all you're doing is actually pulling information. So in this case, we are searching emails using KQL. If I scroll down, you can see send email. So send an email as the authenticated user. So that means that Wordsmith would have the power to send an email as me. And this is automatically set to require approval. And I think that's pretty fair enough. In most cases, you're going to want Wordsmith to ask you if it's okay to send this email. So again, if I click, you can see that you can set these to disable, require approval, or always allow. And if I navigate up to the top right hand corner, I can click all of these to require approval if I choose. But I'm pretty happy. I want Wordsmith to be able to have access to pull information, and I want it to ask me whether it can actually perform the tasks or not. So again, if I scroll down, you can see that we have 37 enabled tools. And it's worth pointing out that if you've ever wondered why, for example, this MCP server has 37 tools, and if I click out, I think Google Drive has 4, it's because we're at the mercy of essentially the application itself, what they choose to expose. So it's nothing that Wordsmith has actually necessarily built. It's simply what we can do because Google has given us access to 4 tools in their application. So again, you can see that I think these are all pull tools. Let me see, search, get. Yeah, they're all get tools. So if I head back to Microsoft Work IQ, now that we're connected and I am pretty happy with how all my tools are set up, I'm going to show you what we can actually do with this. So the first thing that we're going to test out is the email functionality. And again, there's a couple of ways that we can play around with this. We can set up a repository and we can have some recurring tasks happen, but I'm just going to show you very quickly. I want you to search my Outlook and tell me what my most recent email says. And you can see that it's now calling that MCP tool, so it's found 56 recent emails. And it's actually pulled up an error email that I received when I was testing something out earlier. But let me just ask, can you find an email from Ellie at wordsmith.ai? So it has found, I think this is an RSS feed that I was testing out. If we were using a repository, we could set it so that we wouldn't have to ask this follow-up question, so open the full content of the email. Wordsmith would already know to do this. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is test out actually sending an email. But before I do that, I want to head to my memories, and I want to save a particular email address so that when I tell Wordsmith to send an email to Ellie, it knows inherently who to send that to. So if I hit memories, I'm going to add a memory, and I'm going to say Ellie's email address is ellie at wordsmith.ai. Add memory. And you could do this for multiple people, but for the purposes of this particular example, I'm just going to use my own. So I am going to X out of that, and I'm going to say I want you to send an email saying, hey, what's the weather like in Edinburgh to Ellie? And I spelled my name wrong, but let's just change that. And just to make sure, I'm going to say I want you to use Microsoft Outlook because I think I have both connected. And you can see that it's flashed up with permission required because we've told Wordsmith that it needs to always ask me for permission. So I have allow, always allow, or decline. I'm just going to hit allow. And it's been sent to me. So let's take a look at our email to see if that's actually been sent. And in my Outlook, I can see that my email has been sent. And if I go to my Gmail, I can see that I've received the email from Ellie. Okay, to see what else we can do, I'm going to head back to the connectors. And I'm going to set up a repository because I'm going to use this repetitive task where I want it to look at my calendar and I want it to schedule a meeting with Emily. I'm going to exit out of this and I'm going to create a repository. I'm going to call the repository Microsoft. When you enter a repository, you're going to be asked if you want to add any documents. You can do this a couple of ways. You can upload them from your device, so static PDFs. You can also upload via email. Or you can sync with Google Drive, SharePoint, Confluence, or Notion. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you are more than likely going to want to be syncing this from SharePoint. And this just means that any documents that you have, if you make a change to them, add something, delete something, they're always kept in sync with Wordsmith so it reflects any changes that you make to those documents. I have nothing that I want to add right now, so I'm going to head over to settings and I'm going to hit advanced. The next thing that we're going to look at is the instructions. So this tells Wordsmith, how do you want me to think about and act upon the sources and the information that you're giving me? So how should I actually behave? We're going to come back to this in just a second because what I need to do is scroll down to MCP servers, hit connect. If you haven't already, I just want to connect that Microsoft Work IQ and enable those tools again. What I like to do with the custom instructions, so when I'm setting up something that I want Wordsmith to do repetitively, I like to scroll down and actually find the tool name. So in this instance, I am going to say, I'm going to look for find meeting time. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to head back to my custom instructions. And we're just going to do one at a time. I'm going to say, when I say go, I want you to look at my schedule using tool and find a time for a meeting with. Now again, if I wanted Wordsmith to again inherently know who Emily was, I could just navigate to memories and add Emily with this email address. But I'm just going to say, when I say go, I want you to look at my schedule and find a time for a meeting with Emily. So maybe this is something that I do on a repetitive basis. So I'm just going to want to automate this with Wordsmith. So I'm going to hit new thread. I'm going to at Microsoft. I'm going to say go. Let's say these are too late. Let's go with something on Wednesday earlier. Maybe that's something that I want to teach Wordsmith, is that I don't want to take any meetings after 6 o'clock. I don't want to take anything before maybe 9 a.m. So I can just add that to the repository itself. So if I go to settings, advanced, and I say, never offer a meeting slot before 9 a.m. UK time or after 6 o'clock, I'll just say UK time again. Now if we go back to our thread and I can say super, 3 o'clock slot works well for me, book it. And again, these are all hour slots. I could go back to those custom instructions and say, I only ever want to have around maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and then Wordsmith will only ever offer up that time slot. Okay, and let's allow. Now it's given me the option to actually join that meeting, which I don't need to do right now. But if I head over to my Outlook, I go to calendar, I can see that on Wednesday, I have a meeting with Emily at 3 o'clock. Okay, so heading back to our list of tools, we can start thinking about other things that we could actually do here. So for example, we could search through Teams messages, get a message, we could create a chat, we could post a chat message, we can also search for people, and I believe we can search for, if I scroll up, exactly, we can search for and create files. So let's just try one out. So I am going to say, whenever I tell you to send a message, I only want you to send the message into Ellie Test Zone channel. Okay, so if I head back to chat, and for this one, I'm just going to turn off my Slack, turn this off, and I'm going to say, send a message saying, hello, world. Okay, and as expected, it's asking me to actually authorize it to send that message because that's what we have it set to in our settings. So I'm going to hit allow. Now we should have a posted message in this channel. As we can see, hello world, and it's sent from me. I think there are tons of use cases around the Microsoft Work IQ integration and what you could actually use this for, from basically having a personal assistant to be able to query your Microsoft tech stack, essentially like a database, and having Wordsmith crawl through it and actually perform actions. All this is completely configurable by you and depending on the allowance that you actually want to give Wordsmith at all times.